Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at our ShockStrap Ratcheting Tie Down straps. So for the most part, these shock straps are going to be very similar to a regular ratchet strap. They've got their ratcheting mechanism with a really large, easy to use coated handle, all of the zinc-plated hardware to keep it resisting rust and corrosion over time, and you've got the coated S-hooks on the end for your tie-down points. Now for us, we aren't utilizing the tie-down points on our carrier because the S-hooks are a bit large. That's great though because these straps come with these soft loops, so you can loop it around any sort of fragile points, maybe like a handlebar on your motorcycle or your ATV, or just around your carrier or wherever you need to tie down. Hook the strap to that pre-sewn loop, and then you can tighten it down that way. The other unique thing is the shock absorber right here in the middle of the strap. This is going to be a urethane-based material that resists any sort of extreme temperature changes and will stay durable over time. And what it does, as you tighten down the ratcheting mechanism, this is going to stretch out. What that'll do is maintain a constant pressure on the ratchet strap. This is great for things like our motorcycle that have suspension, so if for whatever reason that suspension were to move and travel, the load were to shift, this is going to make sure that the strap stays tight. It'll kind of absorb that and then stretch back out to its natural state after the load has finished moving. Now, it may not translate super well in video, and it's definitely hard to explain how this works, but after using the regular ratchet straps on this carrier, driving around with it last night and working with it today, and seeing the difference in how firm it's holding the front end of the motorcycle now with the shock straps, it really does make a difference. I'm noticing a substantial amount of just sturdiness in the carrier. It's not shaking back and forth as much, and I feel like it's a lot more stable. A couple things about the straps. They're going to be 1.5 inches wide and 7 feet long. On that note though, they do have a minimum usable length because with the actual shock absorber, there needs to be some room for it to move and have tension on it, so that minimum usable length is going to be 29 inches. If your distance from your tie-down point to whatever you're carrying is less than that, these aren't going to work and you're going to need to use a traditional ratchet strap. As far as the weight capacity goes, you're going to have a safe working load limit of 1,000 pounds and a brake strength of 3,000 pounds, and that's per strap. Setting the straps up on our motorcycle carrier, the S-hooks are a little bit large for the tie-down points that we have. So we're going to be utilizing the soft loops to wrap around the carrier. Whenever I'm doing that, I'm just going to make sure I've got it oriented properly so that the handle of the ratcheting mechanism is face out where it's going to be accessible for me. Use the S-hook to hook onto that soft loop. And you can see once it's pulled tight, it's going to be just pulling on the carrier there as a nice anchor point. We've got one on the other side and it's working really well. Our ratchet will end up somewhere around here, and I'm going to grab the free end of it and pick a spot on the carrier to wrap it through. Where we went on the other side is right around here, so I'm just going to match that up. Again, feeding the S-hook and latching it through the soft loop end. Our ramp does present some unique clearance issues, but we can just feed it in from the side like that. S-hook to the soft loop end, and then the free end we're just going to feed up and over top the handlebars, avoiding any brake lines, just feeding it through metal pieces where it's going to have a good strong hold. Just like that. Feed it through the ratcheting mechanism right through there. And after we've got that slack pulled out, we can start to tighten it down. So as we're tightening it down, it might feel like you've got quite a bit of resistance, but what you want to do is actually stretch out this part of the shock strap. And you don't want to stretch it out too much. About 2 inches is what they say. The goal should be able to fit your fingers through here just enough so that there's some tension on here. And what that's going to do is help with the suspension, make sure it's not getting crushed, and be able to take some of that shock as this is bouncing up and down the road. And with both the sides installed, we're good. Everything's really solid on the carrier. I will say we're not using them for the back tie down locations because with the way this is set up, Our tie down points on the carrier are pretty close to where we wrapped around the frame of the motorcycle, and the straps are just too long. With that mechanism needing to stretch out a bit, you just need a certain amount of length to make this strap work, and on the carrier, it's a little bit hard to make that work back here. I think in the instance of a truck bed or a trailer, this would work a lot better in place of a ratchet strap, but for our case today with the motorcycle carrier, the ratchet strap's gonna have to do. Depending on your application, if you need 4 straps, you can get it in a kit of 4, or you can get it in a kit of just 1. We're using the kit of 2 today just to tie down the 2 front parts of our motorcycle to the carrier, but depending on what you need, you can pick up the exact amount of straps for your setup. And if you're going to be carrying anything like a vehicle with suspension or moving parts, I think this is a really great addition. I was surprised with how well it worked, and having that shock absorption to just help with any sort of movement in the load and keep constant tension on the strap is going to be a lot safer going down the road. They are DOT approved, so I trust them going down the road, and after seeing how they work, I think they're going to work really well. And that'll do it for our look at these ShockStrap Ratcheting Tie Down Straps. Thanks for watching.